Hey, everybody. Remember Claris when they changed their name to FileMaker, their main app they had at the time? Well, now it's Claris again for reasons. Apple's new virtual-ish credit card has been released to a select few, with the rest of us mere mortals not having availability until the end of the month. We're going to talk about that and more tonight on the Mac to the Future Livecast Go. And I'm not hearing anything.
No music. We can sing it.
There it is. I turned it down. That was dumb. Hello, everybody. I'm your host, so confused, Guy Searle, and I have my Weiss brand birch beer, so I am good to go. And thank the Lord, I am not by myself. I am also joined tonight by my usual cohorts in crime. We'll start off tonight with Mr. Dave Ginsburg. Hello, David.
Hey, how's it going? I have my Gatorade Zero, so I'm doing well. Drink here, so.
So anything special going on?
Not a thing. Just post Mac stock recovering. I think.
Well, you just bought something, or do you not want to talk about that?
Oh, I don't care. Yeah, I bought a Chromebook for $80.
Ooh,
just
Chrome. It doesn't look like Chrome at all.
Have to play. No, it doesn't. Yeah. It does when you turn it on. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And we all are also joined by, as he's trying to figure out whether he's going to put a bottle to his mouth or not, Mr. Warren Sklar. Hello, sir. How are you?
You guys are not fancy like me. I got the Pellegrino.
No, and my birch beer it's in a William and Mary cup.
So it's actually S Pellegrino, but if you go to Italy, you just say Pellegrino. Because if you say
I would just say Spalagrini, and then they would have to just know what it was I meant.
If you do that in Italy, they smack you if you say it.
Well, they're not going to smack me.
They might.
People don't just walk up to me and hit me. I'm too big. Plus, I'm such a nice guy. So, why would they?
Well, you are.
The French are tall, and they got long arms.
It looks like the comments are working.
And they're easily offended. They're like, sacre bleu.
Oh. Pellegrino.
Oh, how dare you, sir? No, actually, that would be like, how dare you, sir? That's a terrible. Sometimes I can really do it well. Other times it's like, why am I even bothering to try? All right.
There you go. All right.
Couple things to talk about real quick. There's a new Spectre and Meltdown scare. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but it's only for Windows. However, if you're running Windows on your Mac, you do have to worry about it. So have you guys heard about this? Exciting.
I read the article. Yeah. I mean, it's supposedly it's a way to bypass the patch, but it's proof of concept. Nobody's done it. Nobody's really worried about it, and only on Windows for some reason. Like it's some kind of hack.
On Tuesdays, when on days that end with a Y, that's when you got to worry. All right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It says it's affecting Macs who are running Windows.
Yeah. The Mac patch is apparently is good.
It's an OS level patch, so if you run Windows on the Mac, you're running Windows because it's
it's a Windows hardware. It's a Windows machine. It's running Windows.
It's a Windows machine. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Apple News. Remember how everybody said Apple News was just crappy and it just wouldn't work? Well, apparently it's starting to make money for advertisers and publishers. And this if this is true, this bodes good things for the service, because with the state of the publishing industry as it is right now, anything that will make them money, they will jump on like a dog has fleas. And not completely dissimilar to a flea-bearing dog.
Apple News is good. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I
Um,
like it too.
yeah.
It looks great on the iPad. See?
Yeah. Oh, see, I want that
Ooh.
Pro.
Oh, is
Let
that
me know what-
is that the new Pro,
That's
Yes.
his old Pro.
or is that your Chromebook?
No,
That's Pro.
no, God no.
That's the Pro he's gonna sell me in September when they come out with the new one.
Mm. I heard
Did
you're
you hear,
going to Podcast Expo.
No, I'm not going. I wanted to go.
That Warren's going. Are you going to that?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Well, who was it you said was going to the Podcast Expo?
Dave Hamilton is.
Oh, Dave Hamilton. Okay. See, that's why I was confused because.
I said Dave Hamilton right at the beginning when I told
Well,
you.
you may have said that, but that's not what I heard, Mister. And it's not up to me to be able to understand the things that you say. Or for you to repeat them ad nauseum until it penetrates the relatively thickness of my skull. All right.
So the News Plus, yeah, it's I like it. I think I'm not surprised at all. It's making money because the magazines are awesome. I think it just took time for people to start using it and start reading all the things that are in the magazines. It's just such a great service. I kept it.
Well, I'm not paying for it at this point. And I still haven't decided whether I'm going to, because I don't think I use it enough to warrant an additional $10 a month.
We have it on the family.
I banked some App Store dollars, so I'm good for a while.
My wife reads People magazine and the Wall Street Journal.
Mm-hmm.
And
at the same time?
yes,
That would be kind of odd.
it would be wild.
The Wall People Journal.
Yeah, that's when you find out where the Kardashians.
I'm really struggling.
The
So you're
Kardashians
talking about the
are investing-
Kardashians is
the
when did you
Kardashians are
find out
investing in
about Trump,
Bitcoin or
China?
something. Yeah.
What they're investing in. Okay, last one. Wow. Apple's App Store revenue is up 20% in China. It almost sounds like one of those weird games where you put like something together and then at the end of it you say in bed, you know. That for whatever reason that's what that reminded me of. Apple's App Store in China. So with all the gloom and doom coming out from Apple and trade sanctions and everything else between the U.S. and China, somehow or another Apple is still making money. So, and their revenues are up. Isn't that exciting?
It was exciting. The stock market went down the stock went down like $15 like the next day, but it's back up again. So
Yeah, well, that's not a huge
That's the world of the
surprise.
stock market.
All right, we're going to move on to the main stories. I get the feeling that tonight is going to be not a long show. We'll see.
I got a feeling that tonight's not gonna be a long show. That tonight not okay.
Actually, you guys have seen that video I did with that, right? The split screen video?
No.
I don't know.
You
Maybe.
didn't. Okay, well, I have something for you guys to find later on.
No,
I
okay.
did a split screen video of me singing I've Got a Feeling for MyMac.com's 15th anniversary. So I guess this was like 8 years ago I did this. So that's a thing that you can look for. And it's very scary.
So that happened.
It did happen. It did happen. All right. Two main stories tonight. Let me clarify that for you. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Apple spun all of their software except for the Mac OS. This is pre-OS 10. Heck, it's even pre-System 7. Into a wholly controlled by Apple company called Claris. They had a mascot that was half dog and half cow called Moof. Then, as some of the various bits of Claris as a company were discontinued, all that was left was a database program called FileMaker. So they dropped the Claris name for FileMaker. Now, many years later, as in this year, the name is back. Mostly because of an acquisition of an app called StamPlay, which allows you to stitch together web services without code. The app is being rebranded to Claris Connect. And will Apple use the Claris name to bring together a few of their other purchased properties and maybe even non-OS bits of what Apple creates, like, say, what used to be iTunes. Could you, I mean, and of course it would have to be, here's the thing. There's a lot of talk right now in the EU and even here in the US that, you've got like a serious bloom problem there.
So what is that? Like, what is...
I don't know. I don't know what that is. So, but anyway, the EU and the US and a few other countries are starting to talk about how these big tech conglomerates control too much information and too much of the tech space. And so they start talking about monopolies. And I'm wondering if Apple could take some of the bits and pieces that are currently officially part of the operating system, where, you install the operating system and there they are, move them to an organization that's still wholly controlled by them, like Claris, and make it an optional download. Say, okay, well, if you want podcasts and you want, music and you want movies and TV shows and all the rest of that, once you have the main operating system installed, you just follow this link over to this other company that we wholly control called Claris, and you get all that stuff there. Do you think that would be a scenario that could help them against some of the various legislative branches going crazy? What do you think there, Warren?
I think they would figure it out, right? I mean, back when Claris was doing that, I don't think all these issues were going on. That kind of started with Siri, I'm not helping you, go away. But Microsoft started having the problem with the internet browsers. I think that was before that. So
well, yeah, but they also had like 80 to 90% of the total computing market for an operating system.
Right, but if Apple, if Claris came on and Apple owned it, and it sort of did the same thing of like kind of monopolizing a category of software, I think they would figure it out. I don't think they're any better off doing that than just coming up with their own
and just leaving it there
Apple
right
software.
in the operating system.
Okay, or just calling it an optional download if they want to do that too. Also, I think they wouldn't use a Claris name anymore. I think it's spells outdatedness for a lot of people.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
Well, I mean that they're doing it. I mean they're bringing back the Claris name.
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
and FileMaker and this thing called Claris Connect are going to be the first two pieces of it.
When I was doing IT support, I'm still on, but if I'm doing IT support and somebody brings in a Mac computer and I see the word Claris on it on the screen, I'm giving it back to them because I'm not touching it.
Why?
Because it predates me, and I'm not going to deal with it.
Okay, David, what do you think?
No, I think Apple's they're going to leave it alone. I don't foresee them doing anything. I mean, I was not a huge knowledge of FileMaker. I wasn't a big user of the FileMaker, but my Apple user group, we have a special interest group that people talk about FileMaker all the time. So it does have a small base of community, 50,000 users, something like that, compared to Oracle, what the article said. If you go on the FileMaker homepage, they're ready to rock and make the changes to the name. I think it's all marketing. People know that Claris name from way back when, and they're going to continue to develop FileMaker. And I mean, FileMaker's got its base of people, so I think it's going to be a good thing for them. It's cool that Apple's going to just keep it as a subsidiary and don't mess with it, and don't mess with something that works. And FileMaker's got its cult following, but now it's going to be called Claris, and just get used to it.
Okay, we have some comments. Let's see if any of them. Yeah. Well, they're over there in the watch party that I started.
Ah, okay.
And let's see. Damon says that the Claris Dogcow is a, what did he call it? A mastiff puppy. Okay. Speaking of Mastiff puppies, do you remember the dog that was there at Macstock, Dave?
Oh yes, I have a picture of it.
Yeah, that was an English Mastiff, I think Allison said, and the damn thing was huge. I haven't seen a dog that big in
It
years.
was enormous.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it has
got pictures of it.
Yeah, and it was, oh my God, it was so big. He also says that the EU way of resolution is to blindly find the company, tax by stealth. Okay, Marcus Benjamin, lack of knowledge is a sharp edge to walk on. We know that better on this show than anybody. Anybody. Yep. So the next story, this is the last one that I have in here, is when is a credit card not a credit card? Oh, when it's still a credit card. This is a story from Apple Insider. Apple's newly rolled out credit card has a high level of interest. According to some polls suggest that nearly half the people that are aware of its existence will probably apply for one, which could net Apple and Goldman Sachs a hefty sum of money. This is in spite of little to no sign-up rewards and available bonus incentives beyond discounted Apple gear. Now, did either one of you get the invitation for the Apple credit card? Other side, Dave. There you go. Nope, darn it. I messed it up too. Warren got one. I didn't get one.
Brady Bunch. The
Brady Bunch. That's the way we became the Brady Bunch.
I've been trying for the last day.
So
did it just show up on your phone, Warren?
No. So I tried yesterday and there was nothing there, and I didn't get an invite. So I was going today I'm looking at it now. I was going today just to play around, just to see something, and all of a sudden it asked me if I want to add it, and there you go. It gave me a $10,000.
Nice. Had you already applied for it? Did you apply for it, or did it just show up?
No.
It shows up, then you have to apply for it.
It shows up, and you have to apply for it, which is really kind of easy. You put in the one thing it asked me to do that I didn't read anything about was scan your driver's license or an ID. So that's the one thing I didn't read about, and I don't know why it asked me that. But the thing.
Well, just to verify that you are you.
Yeah, but from all the write-ups I saw, it didn't say that you had to do that. But I did that, and then it asks you a question if you want the physical card or not. And I said, of course, because that's the only reason I'm getting this thing.
I want to be a card. I want to be a card holder.
My God,
yeah, so
that's the whole point.
Yeah, so you get that in 68 days, and I'm going to get that. And, I mean, there's no harm because there's no fees. Only if you buy anything, so it just sits there anyway. So I just want the place. I want the metal. I just want the piece of metal.
Yeah, the titanium. Yeah, me too.
I did not tell my wife about this, and I'm not sure if that's a good idea or bad idea. She might find out.
Yeah, well, I doubt she watches. I mean, my wife is. I took my wife to the airport this morning. She was going out to visit her mom in Boise, and even if she was here, I mean, physically in the house, on Facebook, with the only thing that she would be able to watch is my page, she still wouldn't watch this. She has
no, mine neither. So
yeah,
but she controls the finances, so she's going to say something. So
okay, well, so does my wife. I'm the one working, but she controls all the money.
That's how it is.
Yeah, that's how it is.
No comment.
I need to. I need to retire. I want to retire too. Dave, have you given any thought at all to getting the Apple Card?
100%. Yes, I want it. I've been trying for the last 2 days. Gosh darn it. I'm just. It's just intriguing how much of a craze it's become. I mean, the press has been just insane, and I mean, Goldman Sachs got to be laughing.
For a credit card.
Over a credit card.
Yeah, but if you don't use it,
it's crazy.
If you don't use it, and if you pay it off every month, then I don't even know how Goldman Sachs would even make money on that. And I think that's what a lot of people are planning on doing.
But here's the thing, though, Warren. So there's a reason why credit cards, even with historically low interest rates right now, still make a lot of money because very, very few people actually pay it off each month.
Right.
And plus, they also, most of these credit card companies make anywhere from 2 to 5% back on purchases.
Yeah, they're making the fees from the purchases, and they're making the fees from MasterCard and Visa. And
Right. Well, okay, but people like free stuff, and right now everybody, like Apple fans, are like, I could have this, and it doesn't cost me anything. Pretty much, it's free.
Yeah,
So
well,
that's what.
If you get the card and you buy absolutely nothing with it,
right,
it's not going to cost you anything. It's completely free.
It's a free piece of Apple.
You just get a credit inquiry on your credit card.
Right. So I mean, I think right now that's the only reason people are doing it. I think if they weren't sending the physical card, very few people would do it because they want the card. Everybody I talk to on the Apples only gets it because they want the card.
We all. I mean, as soon as they announced it, you could almost hear the orgasmic rush from everybody that was there.
Because it was like Johnny.
DC.
It was like Johnny.
It's like, I want the card.
Yeah, because it was, presented like a MacBook.
That's as far as I go.
Yeah. I got further than that. Are you on the beta or no?
No, that's probably why you got it, because you're on the beta.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I have a friend of mine at work got the invite, and I know he's not on the beta. So,
See, it's got
let me see. I'm going to go over to the Wallet app.
If I
hit plus.
If I buy something, then
nope, it just says Apple Pay.
Yep.
Add cards to Apple Pay. No, so I don't have it.
It's pretty.
It's sad. I feel so sad.
Nothing due. See?
Nothing.
Wait, nothing due right now. But it says if you use Apple Card to make purchase this month, your first payment will be due on September 30th. Is what it says. Yeah.
Wow.
And then when you do spend things, it gives you like a little graph. Graphy.
But see, that's the incentive to make you buy. Almost said a bad word there. Make you buy stuff with it.
No, are you kidding me?
Stuff.
This is
Stuff.
When my wife yells at me about applying for the card, I'm just gonna pull this out and say, "Look, it's empty. There's nothing going on. There's no purchases here."
And the thing is, she can't see the bill because it's all on the phone. They don't send a statement.
And $10,000 is enough to buy, I think, the Mac Pro.
Low end. With the monitor.
Well, maybe without the monitor.
No, you couldn't for $10,000. You could not
get the monitor. I'd be a little short. I'd be a MacBook Air short. Price wise of getting the actual monitor.
It's almost like you could take like 2 or 3 MacBook Airs and shuffle them like cards and say, okay, one for you and one for you and one for you. All with my Apple Pay card that I don't have yet. I want that damn card so bad. I can taste the titanium.
Check back with me in 6 to 8 days.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
We'll
6 to 8 working days.
Seeing you flash it. We'll
you guys hearing that?
I did for a moment there.
I didn't hear nothing.
Hold on. I'm wondering if it's these earbuds. Am I getting some interference with that? Hold on just a second.
Nope. Still doing it.
I'm going to switch over to headphones and see if I can... Okay.
Still buzzing.
Nope. Why can't I hear you guys? God, it's even worse.
We're just playing with you. Just shut up. Let's go.
Okay, it's bad. It's really bad.
Well,
all right.
I'll talk about one more story because I'm surprised you didn't pick it up. Is the fact that Samsung came out with their Galaxy S10 and the Note 10 Plus, no headphone jack.
Huh. I'm me stunned.
5G.
All that advertising they did about making fun of Apple, the fact that we have a headphone jack and you don't, and all of a sudden they go back and Hey, look.
Does it have a
Anymore.
notch? Does it
No, it
have
doesn't.
a notch?
It doesn't,
Okay.
actually. I'm looking at the picture
No
on
notch.
Mac Rumors.
And it also has 5G. And it's also $1,300.
Yeah, well, 5G until
the Note
easily
1300 and both of them are. I didn't look at the price.
No, just
Unt-
the 5G model is.
I would say that until 2021 that 5G is not going to be that big of a deal. It's going to take them some time to roll that out. So
the Note 10 plus 5G is $1,300.
well, okay, unless you live like in a specific area in New York or San Francisco, chances are it's
Or
not going to
Chicago.
mean anything. Oh, you guys got it
But
there in
it
Chicago?
Yeah.
The problem is, and I thought about this too, which is right, but the problem is, the longer Apple doesn't do it, the less long the phones are going to be relevant. So, excuse me, 2022, 5G is everywhere. What are we talking about? Maybe a 3-year-old iPhone that maybe I want to give to my son. That's
Maybe.
a 10s. Doesn't have the radio. Doesn't have the 5G radio. So it's gonna obsolete out a lot of the old iPhones that when 5G is here. And
Maybe.
really here.
I mean, we won't really know until 5G becomes more prevalent across the nation, and you know, we could all be. No, never mind. I'm not going down that dark path. I'm not going to go down that dark path.
Oh, be
right,
dead
and-
by the time 5G rolls around.
Hey, I'm almost 50. I'm almost 59 years old. I could very well just.
I think you're gonna
Keel
make
over.
it to 5G. Maybe not 6G, but you'll make the 5G mark. I
Well,
think.
well, if I have to choose
Yeah.
between 60 and 5G, it's a tough choice.
That's an easy choice for me. I'm going to 5G.
Okay.
Live fast and die hard. my
Live
friend.
fast and leave
fast.
leave a good looking upload speed.
That's right.
All right.
I can't do it.
Anybody else have anything going on that we want to talk about tonight related to Apple or tech or
The
what have you?
90210 reboots on tonight.
That's where he's going to be running to the TV to watch that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, one of the original cast is already dead.
Yes, that's very sad.
The
Too
one
soon, too soon,
the guy that played Archie Andrews' dad in Riverdale.
Yes,
Luke
Dylan. Luke
Yeah.
Perry, we know. Very sad. Yeah. Too soon. 7 more minutes
So-
silence for Luke Perry.
Yeah. So I mean, we're all obviously heartbroken.
We are. I am.
No, it is.
Okay. So moving
On
on
that
from
note,
moving on from our heartbreak, Dave, if people wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do it?
They would go to intouchwithios.com. That's my technology podcast that I talk about everything iOS. And Adam Christensen's going to be coming on the show
Nice.
this next episode coming up. And I think Mr. Warren Sklar is going to be on next week. If we got all things worked out there. So we'll get to enjoy his views on iOS and everything else tech we talk about. And
Cool.
I also have my horse racing podcast, Off the Charts, horseracing.com. Big weekend here in Chicago, the Arlington $1 million race. So
Ooh. Warren, how about you?
I am on Facebook. Always.
Guatemala.
Constantly.
Oh yeah, contact Dave.
Guatemala.
I forgot you put that there.
I had to.
No, it still holds true, actually.
It still works. It still
still
works.
And then I am going to Boston next week, Dave. I think it might be
Boston?
Thursday. So.
Boston.
Boston. We're
Get
going
some
to see
clam chowder.
We're going to tour the colleges for my son.
Ah, the
We're gonna go
colleges.
Tour the colleges and see
Harvard
Harvard.
Yard.
We're going to see Harvard, and then we're going to see the other one, the
Cambridge.
Cambridge. I don't know. Yeah, that's where we'll be.
Okay.
No, I'm going to check out the pizza while I'm there.
Well, I think
Mike's
Chicago probably has the best pizza.
Well, see, that's the thing. I went to Chicago 2 weeks ago, and I tried their pizza.
How was it?
It was okay.
Careful. Remember, David lives in Chicago.
I went to the place that
whined about
David
it.
recommended. I went to the place that he told me to go to, and
Blue
it was
on
very
eyes,
good.
baby.
It was good. It wasn't East Coast good. It wasn't New York style pizza.
No, it never will be. Just
You're
go to
gonna
Mike's
take that.
Pastries.
You're gonna take that. You're gonna take that line down.
No. I know
Yeah.
the pizza's good. Don't worry about it.
I happen to love Chicago style pizza. If you would like to get a hold of me and tell me what your favorite pizza is, all you'd have to do is send me an email, guy@mymac.com. You can also contact me on the Twitters. My Twitter handles are MacPettit and VertShark. Besides, of course, this wonderful train wreck of a live cast that I do, I also do the MyMac.com podcast every weekend with Mr. Gary Gazmaz Malpaz. I'd say that 10 times fast. As well as, on occasion, record in my car and say stuff there. You can find that under Guy's Daily Drive over there in iTunes. As a matter of fact, the audio feed from this show also shows up in that feed. Why? Because I can. If you would like to help me out with some of the stuff that I do, like this thing right here that I just got today. It's a compressor.
Okay.
It's really, really cool. I don't even know if I can make it work yet, but we will find out. More money spent, more money down the drain. You can help me buy silly crap like that by going to ko-fi.com/MacParrot and do a one-time donation, or become a Patreon sponsor, patreon.com/MacParrot. I also have, and I guess I should put it somewhere here in the show notes. I have a wish list over there on the Amazons with stupid stuff on it that I would like other people to buy for me because I can't afford it. including Dave, the Roadcaster that we saw at Macstock, because it's only $600. Like, I can't imagine that there isn't someone out there in Mac to the Future land that doesn't have $600 that they're just sitting on, doing nothing. And yeah, okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop. Thank you all for being here with us live or watching this later on. We really, really do appreciate the fact that you take the time to check us out here on the Mac to the Future livecast. And we will more than likely, and this is not a threat, we will more than likely see you next week. Let's see. Who's going to take us out? Let's have Warren take us out. Warren, take us out with your weird looking face.
Where's your weird video there?
Somebody has to buy me a webcam. This is my Mac Pro, and I don't know why it's doing that.
Just get a Logitech 920. They're like super cheap.
So if you go to
932.
Coffee and you know what I look like? I look like
You look like a Star Trek.
or Phantom of the Opera guy.
Oh yeah, no, Star Trek, the one with it's like Frank Gorshin with half white and half black face, and the other guy also had half black and half white, but it was on the opposite side, and they hated each other. Say goodnight, Warren.
Good night. Whoa, that's freaky. Good night, everybody.